Hello, this is Joe from Men Stuff Music, and I'm here to talk about the Opus from 2 Notes Audio. So, it's an amp, it's a cab, it's a room microphone, it's an IR loader. It is also a preamp. Now, the cool thing about this is you can take anything you have and plug it direct, whether it's your pedal board, whether it's your amplifier, or whether it's anything that you want to take directly from your signal and put it straight to a front of house, recording studio, anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through a few tones that kind of like showcase a lot of this stuff. It does so much that it's like hard to cram it into like a 10-minute video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the Torpedo remote. And what it does is it shows everything the Opus does through this really cool app that you can get on your phone, your iPad, anything like that. So what I'm going to do is hit this view button here. When I hit the view button, it brings up the preamp section, the power amp section, the EQ, the enhancer, and what they call kind of like their reverb, but it also has some really cool echoes. So one of the coolest things about this is the fact that you can literally change anything you want from your sound, whether it's, your power amp tubes or even what kind of preamp they kind of put through it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through some of these presets that they have inside. You get a lot backed up here. We're going to do one fried Lexi, which I think is kind of like an overdriven plexi sound. That kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the power amp tube, which I think is a really cool feature of this. We're going to change it to single-headed KT88. Now you put a KT88 something, it warms everything up. Let's hear how it sounds. Sounds really cool. Now, one of the coolest things about this is what they call the enhancer. And what the enhancer does is it takes your tone and it takes like the frequencies you want to take out and put in and sums them down pretty easy. So we have body, thickness, and brilliance. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of treble with the brilliance knob here and kind of brighten up those KT88s just a little bit. That kind of thing really warms that up. Now at the same time, you get this really awesome, huge EQ on here. I'm going to take my mid-range here and kind of crank it a little bit, kind of in that between that 400 and like 1.6K range here. So mids where it makes you stands out and all the mixes and all that good stuff. Let's hear how that sounds. Sounds really cool. So if we go out of the view section, there's something really awesome that comes on from the front screen. So we have this cab here. Like I said, this is what they call their Dyna IR cab. And it's basically 2 Notes' gigantic list of so many cab IRs, so many different cabinets, so many different speaker types, all that good stuff. So right now I have it running out of a 412, and I'm going to change it. So I'm going to go into this cab section here, and it brings up their sub-menus. We're going to go to the guitar, and I'm going to put it through a 4x12 with, I'm going to do a Friedman 4x12 with some vintage speakers in there. So now it's a Friedman 4x12 Dyna IR. That kind of thing. Now you can also change what microphones you have on this cab, and I think it's really cool. So they have 2 on there right now. The one doesn't seem to be activated. We're gonna activate both, kind of see what they do. I'm gonna hit this Dyna 7B here, and I'm actually gonna change it to a Ribbon 121. One of the most awesomest studio kind of microphones you can get. And we can move it around too, which is kind of cool. So I'm gonna kind of move it a little bit closer and over to the left, just a tad. Kind of makes it a little more mid-rangey there, so I'm going to pull it back. See how it changes. everything changes. Like I said, we can have 2 microphones on here, right? And I got this little other guy over here that I am going to change to down at 421. And then we are going to pull it up here just a little bit on the preset volume. Cool. So now what we're going to do, bypass off. Let's switch to a couple of these other presets. Go back into Torpedo here. They have all these cool names. The Smokin' 70s. Sounds kind of cool. We have Puppet Master, which I'm guessing is some kind of Metallica. That kind of thing. We have Sweet Child, which is obviously going to be kind of like the Guns N' Roses thing. That kind of thing. So it just goes, the list goes on and on and on. And like I said, you know, this thing does so much, it's kind of hard to touch base on everything, but the gent, or, you know, the internet calls it, but it's really gent. It takes and reacts like a real amp. You don't have to have on any kind of clean channel to run your pedals. You can take the presets on here and push them with your gain stages or even your delay or anything like that. And speaking of that, let's go over here back to the view, and we're gonna go onto the reverb and hear out some of these reverb sound. So I'm a reverb guy. I love delay and reverb. So I'm gonna put some spring here, crank this echo. We're gonna turn it on just a little bit. It gets deep. For all those screaming leads that people like to do. Then you have room and ambience here, and also you can mix your dry and wet signal, which you can do that on everything here, whether it's the enhancer or the reverb. You can always mix your dry and wet signal, which I think is pretty cool. So the cool thing about the Opus is you can also use it with a lot of other Two Notes products. You can use it with their Revolt, which is another direct unit or direct solution that takes a 12AX7 powered preamp, which can be like, you know, quote unquote, your amp head. And then you can have your Opus here, and that can be quote unquote your cabinets or your cabinet miking situation, which I actually use live a lot, and it's been really awesome. So that's the Opus from Two Notes Audio Engineering. Like I said, it does a lot more than what we covered here with the Torpedo remote and also a lot of other Two Notes products you can pair it with. You can pair it with the Two Notes Revolt, which is one of their awesome preamps, and you can use the Revolt as your head, and you can use the Opus as your cab situation, whether you want it to sound like a 412, 112, whatever you want. Change all the miking, change all the rooms. Check it out at endstuffmusic.com. It does a lot.